Well, we'll go on to our next one. This is the Question Blog Talk Radio conversation with me, Doug Pagitt, and got Tony Jones, our regular religion co-host on the line. Our next story for the day, we'll put this one in a no news, good news, or bad news category as well. Here's the headline: Southern Baptists want to focus on missions and off of controversial headlines at their annual meeting. Yeah. Southern Baptist leaders, this article says, are followers. They want to put aside the squabbles over political and social issues and look inward at a time when the nation's largest Protestant denomination is hoping to stop declining membership. Leaders hope that energizing missionary efforts can help and plan to focus the group's annual meeting on Tuesday on things of mission. I don't know. I mean, that's intriguing because the Southern Baptists the last 30 years have really based their growth and their size and their power off of being politically engaged and being social commentators, and now they're saying in an effort, and whether or not they're saying it's an effort to stop declining failure or not, I don't know, but I think the reason that denomination is declining is because of the rise of these independent megachurches more than anything. But
that's probably right. And when we think of Southern Baptists, we often think of big, enormous megachurches with celebrity pastors. But like any other big historic denomination, the vast majority of Southern Baptist churches are, 70 members out in the rural areas. So I think that's probably part of why they're shrinking. This is no news to me because it's just, with the fall of the religious right, what had made headlines from the Southern Baptist Summer Convention in the past is the Southern Baptists declare a boycott on Disney World and Disneyland because they have a gay-friendly day. And that's how they made headlines. And they made headlines with people like Jerry Falwell, who actually made it their career to make headlines.
Yeah.
But now we enter one of my least favorite seasons in the church year, summer convention time.
With big meetings.
The Episcopalians are going to be voting on gay ordination, and the Methodists are going to get together and argue about gays, and the Lutherans are going to argue about gays, and it's all gross. So. Well, Doug, I'm afraid I have to bow out and let you take the third story solo.
No problem. All right, my friend. Hey, we'll talk to you in a minute. Okay. All right. Hey, that's Tony Jones.
Talk to you later.
Yeah. That's Tony Jones, our religion co-host here for part of the Question of Blog Talk Radio conversation with me, Doug Pagitt. Interested in your feedback, folks, if you have thoughts about this. I would put Southern Baptists wanting to focus on mission and off of controversial headlines to be good news. I think anytime large contingents of religious people say that we want to participate in the common good and away from being controversial and negative, that's a good thing. So now, whether they can do it, whether it will have any lasting effect, whether it will change anything in the world or not, that is a yet to be determined fact. But I think that it is good news. And I would say to my dear friends who find themselves from the family of the Southern Baptist, keep pushing them, keep it rolling, keep it going. Now, I got a caller here that I think might want to be on the phone line, and I got a caller calling on the 111. Is that a Skyper? Chum, is that you? Okay, maybe somebody didn't want to call in, but if you did want to call in, I see your hand is raised, so caller on that Skype line, if you want to chime in, feel free to join in. So I would say Southern Baptists wanting to become focused on mission. All for you. Couldn't be happier. Way to go. Third news story that I want to run by in our religion news segment today runs under the headline in the Minneapolis Star-Tribune religion section: John Calvin superstar, Protestant reformer born 500 years ago, is celebrated worldwide. Here's how it reads: John Calvin, the great reformer, used dictatorial means in making Geneva a Protestant Rome, but he also planted the seed of modern democracy. He enforced a rigid morality and stressed the importance of helping others while he had a share in developing capitalism. He supported the destruction of religious statues and other images, but described arts as a gift from God. This is how Calvin's role in history is being assessed by theologians and historians in countless lectures, studies, and biographies. 500 years after he was born on July 10th, 1509, the 500-year birthday celebration in history of our man, John Calvin. Raise a glass. Not every part of the family cheers on the family legacy in the same way. This guy wouldn't exactly praise the efforts in the work, wouldn't exactly praise the effort in the result, wouldn't exactly praise the effort of the results of the work of John Calvin, while giving great credence to the fact that he was doing in his day what he thought he ought to do. Give him all the credit for that. But the play out, not so good. It's like a scientist who does the good science to discover an element, an ingredient, a chemical that becomes destructive to human beings. You don't care for the result, but you can honor on the work that he did. So I honor John Calvin's work and effort and genius and consideration of trying to make the gospel of Jesus from the first century connect to 16th century Switzerland. But the results of that have been toxic to an awful lot of people, including me. So some of us now are trying to work a Christianity that is not bound and is not held to the superstar from Geneva, St. John Calvin. Some of us think maybe we could do a little better. So, his anniversary is full of festivities all over the world, and very Swiss-oriented festivities, which fly in great contrast, strangely enough, ironically enough, to Calvin's modest life. Modest, I guess, in the sense that he wasn't into carousing, wasn't into dancing, wasn't into self-engrisement. He wasn't into him looking like the bomb. He wasn't looking like he was the guy. Unless you were on the other side. And then he could hit you pretty hard. But look, he was 26 years old when he began writing the Institutes of Christian Religion, and many of us, when we were 26 years old, acted in ways, concluded things, and behaved in ways that we're no longer proud of. In fact, many of us feel the need to move beyond the articulation of our lives and our faith when we were 26. It would have been nice if Calvin had done the same, that maybe he was just being a 26-year-old. But thoughts that some of the rest of you have on John Calvin, I'd be glad to have them. You know, his influence is certainly felt not only throughout his day, but has been felt throughout the ages in lots of different ways. One of his proteges, John Knox, carried this on to Scotland and England, and from its Swiss origins, and gave us Presbyterianism. Now, I'm doing a little bit of this on the road show that I'm on, where I'm presenting my book, A Christianity Worth Believing, which in a lot of ways is the same effort that Calvin and Knox and others were about, but concluding differently on the particulars of the content of Christianity. But we still are, I'm still doing the same work, and I'm going to use a little clip for the first time in the show on Wednesday, talking about this very topic, about the innovations of theology put together by these reformers, and other theologians. And my suggestion is it's like Bill Cosby, who says that his dad established their relationship when he was 7 years old by looking at him and saying, "Look, I brought you into this world, and I'll take you out. And it don't make no difference to me, because I'll make another one look just like you." It's a great little bit in Cosby's stand-up shtick from himself in the 80s. It's the way I feel about these theologies. They can come into existence, they can go out of existence, and somebody else can make another one to look just like it, because they're all sort of made up. So that's how I feel about this. So Calvin, hats off to you and your 500-year birthday. The article ends with this: "It was the end of a life in modesty when he died, of a man for whom he once wrote, describing his theology that describing his theology as Calvinism was an insult." So John Calvin says, to describe my theology as Calvinism is an insult. And I can simply say in 2009, to describe my theology as Calvinism would equally be an insult. Hey, The Question, Blog Talk Radio conversation with me, Doug Pagitt, your host. We will catch you soon. Over and out.